Hi everyone, welcome to your Facebook and Instagram Live. It's Christine Dahl from Fashion Angel Warrior here. Welcome, I am super excited to be back. Hi Daniela, how are you? Nice to see you on. Sorry about last week guys, I had a cold, I could not even talk, so was not good. But we are back, I'm super excited. I'm excited to see all of you. I love seeing you guys here on the calls. Fashion by Precious. Hey, how are you? Hey, Kristen, how are you? Hey, Tiffany, nice to see you on. So I'm so glad to be back. I am still a little bit recovering from my cold, so you'll hear me cough a little bit. Hopefully my voice won't give out and we can finish doing this Facebook Live. So as we go along, definitely give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up. I love hearing from you. It's like oxygen to me, so I need it. Please type in your comments if you have any questions as we go. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm feeling better too. Hopefully by next week I'll be 100%. Still sniffling and coughing a little bit, but hopefully that goes away. So if you are on Instagram, this video will be deleted at the end of this broadcast. So be sure if you want to watch it or if you missed any parts of it, go on over to the Facebook group, The Fearless Fashionpreneur, and you can watch all of our Facebook Lives inside that group. It's also a really great community for fashionpreneurs. We give away a lot of inspiration, motivation. We've got a great community of people going on over there, so make sure you go check it out. All right, so today's topic is failure necessary in order to succeed? And I want to first get all of your opinions on this. So go ahead and weigh in. Let me know in the comments box below what your opinion is. Do you think failure is necessary to succeed? Type yes or no in the comments box. Oh, and I forgot to mention, please share this video now. If you are on Facebook, you can share it. If you're not on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you have to head on over to Facebook in order to share it. Type shared in the comments below and I will send you a little gift. So you'll get a gift from me via email. So definitely send and share this with all the fashionpreneurs that you know. So Kristen says yes, failure is necessary. Okay, I'm gonna wait for 2 more people. Hey Kai, how are you? Nice to see you. So we're answering the question, is failure necessary? Precious says yes. The question is failure necessary in order to succeed? Hey Cleo, how are you? Tiffany says yes. Okay, awesome. So, oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Kay. Thanks for saying that. I love the compliment. That's awesome. Yes, Kay says yes. Kai, sorry, am I saying it wrong? I do apologize. Okay, so yes, failure is necessary to succeed. And what really prompted me to talk about this with all of you tonight is really because I experienced something in my own business, which I personally considered to be a failure. And Daniela says it doesn't need to be a big failure. This is true. So I experienced something personally in my business that I personally considered a failure. And I was really struggling to get over this. Like it was really, really bothering me. Now, I think most of you will probably agree that most people try to avoid failure at all costs, right? Like nobody goes out and says, yay, I want failure in my business, right? None of us are doing that. We're probably all trying to avoid failure for good reasons, right? Obviously, failure kind of has this connotation that's looked down upon. It's seen as a deficiency or rejection or something's wrong with you if you fail, right? So people are not going out there trying to fail on purpose, that's for sure. And in fact, some people are so focused on not failing that they don't even try, right? We don't even aim for success. And instead we kind of play things safe and we settle for mediocrity, which is also really not good, right? So, and this brings me to one of my favorite quotes, which I'll read to you. It's by J.K. Rowling. She wrote the books of the Harry Potter books. And she said, it is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you failed by default. And that's one of my favorite quotes because I truly believe that if you just keep trying, there is no such thing as failure as long as you try. Because if you didn't try at all, then how can you fail, right? And I think that sometimes when we do end up failing, we tend to gloss over our mistakes, or we start to make excuses, or we start blaming others, and that's all really not good either, right? Failure is really a byproduct of risk, and I believe that starting a business is obviously a huge risk, and starting a business definitely requires going outside of your comfort zone. So I always say the word faith is spelled R-I-S-K, right? So in order to have a lot of faith, you've got to take a lot of risk. Starting a business is definitely risky, and it definitely involves a lot of faith. So I want to take a step back for 1 minute and define what failure and success really are, so we know what we're kind of talking about here, okay? So definition of failure could mean the action or state of not functioning, meaning a breakdown or malfunction. It could mean the collapse of your business, meaning bankruptcy or closure. Or it could really mean a lack of success, defeat, disappointment, not hitting a certain goal that you want to achieve, and not achieving your desired outcome. So that's really the kind of failure that we're talking about here, right? It's kind of the type of failure where you set a goal and you just don't achieve it, or you reach halfway, or you reach 3/4 of the way, but you don't actually hit your goal, right? So that's the type of failure that we're talking about here. And then definition of success, and a lot of people have different definitions of success, so that really is a very personal thing. But if you do look it up in the dictionary, it will tell you that success means either affluence, riches, or profit. It could also mean the attainment of popularity, or it could mean the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, hitting a certain goal and achieving a certain dream. So for me, when I say success, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hitting your goals, achieving your dreams, achieving your desired outcome, right? And really, a lot of this, again, is very personable. It's based on your perception. It's based on your own experience. It's based on your interpretation of what's going on, and really your response to that interpretation, right? And I love John Maxwell. He says that the difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and response to failure. And I think that's a really good quote. I'm going to repeat it again. The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and response to failure. And I think that's so important, because it really is. It really is all based on what is your response to your failure. You're definitely going to fail at something. I guarantee it. If you're starting your own fashion line, you're starting a fashion business, you will fail. But the key is, how are you responding to that failure, and what's your perception of that failure? Are you looking down upon the failure, or are you looking at it towards a stepping stone to something greater, right? And this is kind of where I was getting stuck in my business. And of course, again, this all depends on a lot of other things too, like your emotions. Are you a very emotional person? Do you have really highs and really lows? How positive of a person you are? Do you tend to get negative towards things, or do you tend to take a positive, half full, the glass is half full kind of mentality? Bruno, nice to see you. Hi, how are you? Sashi Co Style, thanks for joining. Everyone, thanks for joining. If you've just joined in, please give me your hearts and your thumbs up. Trying to stay positive after failure can be tough, Cleo says. Yes, it definitely can. And hopefully after today, you'll view failure in a different way. So it can also depend, right, how much of a perfectionist you are, which I like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist. I used to be super, super bad about being a perfectionist, and really there's no point. Good is better than perfect, and done is better than perfect. So I'd rather have something done and off my plate and good enough than waiting and procrastinating forever until it's absolutely perfect, which may never actually happen. Hi, thanks for the hearts. Thank you so much. Also depends on your level of patience, right? Like how long you're willing to wait to see your dreams and goals fulfilled, and whether you see the time as you're waiting as a failure because you haven't reached the goal, or if you're seeing it as, okay, I know I'm going to reach the goal eventually. It will eventually happen, and I will eventually have success. And of course, your level of stubbornness, right? Some people are so unwilling to let something go. They're like holding on to this idea that they have and this goal that they have, and really maybe it wasn't working for you, and that's why it failed, right? So you have to have a level of, okay, is this something that's a good idea or a bad idea? And if it's a bad idea and it's not working, maybe you just need to let it go instead of keep doing it over and over again. Oh yeah, perfection takes too long. It definitely takes too long. It really does nothing for you. So the faster you can get over your perfectionism, the better. Trust me. Okay, this is why I say I'm a recovering perfectionist. So going back to my story, my personal story. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Going back to my story of my own personal failure. So I really was struggling with this one particular thing that happened in my business, and my coach really helped me through it. I have my own personal business coach because I believe in coaching so much. I have my own coach, of course. And he really helped me see it not as a failure, but as basically part of the process of starting a business and part of the process of growing a business and really part of the building process, right? And so he got me to see that failure is part of the process. So that's kind of the theme for today, of that success requires failure. And the more times you fail, the more times you succeed. And I'm sure someone famous has said that quote numerous times. So if you keep failing, the more success you'll actually have. It's all part of the business building process. And that really got me thinking again about how businesses actually grow, right? We try to think that businesses grow in a straight diagonal line, up, 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 up. But really it doesn't happen like that, right? It's kind of like the stock market. It goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down. And over time, the general direction is up, right? But if you looked at one small fraction, if you looked at one piece of your business, if you looked at one certain time in your business or one season in your business, it would actually look like it's going down. I mean, if we look at the stock market, if you take a couple years, even maybe a 5-year period, even for instance, the recession in 2008, it would look traumatic. It would look horrific. It would look devastating, right? To see it go down, 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 right? But then again, eventually it starts to go back up. And in the long term, in the big picture, in the overall, in the long term thinking process, it really overall is still going up. And again, that's the same with the stock market if you really looked at it. So again, it's about having that big picture mindset. It's about having the vision, right? What is the end goal? What is your business going to achieve over a long period of time? You might have declines for 2 years of sales, but overall, over 10 years worth of your business, you made tons of money. So is it worth it to look at those 2 years where you quote unquote failed, or you might see it as a failure because you lost money and you lost profits? Or is it worth it to see over the long term what you actually gained, right? So this reminded me of another quote that I heard from the CEO of Netflix. And those of you who kind of follow along Netflix, they've had some large ups and downs in their business. And recently they've been going up and up. But they did have a point where they went super, super low. And people almost completely got off of their service because they were doing so horribly. But anyway, so the quote is, if you're having too much success, you haven't set your goals high enough. There needs to be a certain level of failure as you grow. And that really got me thinking, because I thought, wow, if you're having too much success, meaning if you're always having success, your goals aren't high enough. You're actually not dreaming big enough, because you should be failing. It's natural to fail. In your business, it's totally okay to have failure, and you should even desire failure and want failure in your business. Hey, Nitika, how are you? Nice to see you on. So I really love that quote. Give me a thumbs up if you love that quote also. I'll read it again. If you're having too much success, you haven't set your goals high enough. You're not dreaming big enough. You're not going out on a ledge. You're not getting out of your comfort zone enough because you haven't failed. So actually having some level of failure is good in your business as you're growing. And that really started to change everything for me. And then I started to think even more, hey, Kristen, oh, great, you love that perspective. Great. Cleo loves it too. Awesome. So I'm glad that's helping all of you. Yes, thumbs up. I love your hearts. Great. Keep them coming, guys. Okay, so that got me thinking of other, famous inventions that were created and a lot of famous businesses that started that didn't have a lot of success in the very beginning, right? So, hey, Aisha, how are you? Nice to see you on. So Thomas Edison, right? I think we all know he invented the light bulb. But did you know that he failed 10,000 times before creating the light bulb? 10,000. That's kind of ridiculous. And I think probably he tried that much because there literally was no light. So why do anything else? If you have no light, you really can't do much. So, you can only work so many hours in the day, right? So he literally failed 10,000 times. But he is quoted as saying, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And so that's a really great perspective to have, right? It's not failure. It's not looking at it as a failure. It's just, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. Okay, I tried this, it didn't work. Okay, I tried this, it didn't work. And you just keep trying. You just keep changing something. You just keep adapting and moving in a different direction until you find something that clicks. It really only takes one thing. If you have one breakthrough in your business, if you get your line into one store, or you have a video that goes viral, or your Instagram page just automatically blows up one day, it only takes one event in your business could completely skyrocket you. And what if you quit before that one event occurred? What if you decided, oh, I'm going to throw in the towel before that one event occurred, right? So the only way really to not fail, in my opinion, is to not quit. If you never quit, you'll never fail. You'll never truly fail, in my opinion, because the small failures don't really matter, but the larger failure is actually giving up on yourself. So anyway, going back to all these famous people. So the Starbucks founder, Howard Schultz, I don't know if you all know about his story. He was actually turned down by 217 investors before people started to invest in Starbucks. Starbucks. We're talking about Starbucks. They've changed the entire game of coffee, okay? People die to be like Starbucks. All these competitors now are trying Coffee Bean and this one and the Gregory's and whatever. They're all trying to be Starbucks, and they're not Starbucks, okay? This guy was turned down by 217 investors. What if you decided on the 217th investor, oh, that's it, I give up. I'm not doing this anymore. He never would have got to the 218th investor that actually said yes. So it really pays to not throw in the towel. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He also missed, in his professional career, 400 out of 600 shots that were game-winning shots. And they still consider him to be the #1 basketball player of all time. He missed 400 out of 600. That doesn't sound good, at least to me. I'm obviously not a basketball player. But he missed 400 out of 600. People were putting their support and confidence in him that he would make the game-winning shot. So they would give him the ball and he would miss more than half of the time. He would miss, and yet he was still the #1 basketball player. And this is a good quote from Michael Jordan. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. And that's a really good quote from Michael Jordan. Again, if you do share this video, type share it in the comments, and I will send you all of my notes as a gift. So you'll have all these quotes, you'll have everything that we talked about tonight, so you can really chew on it, digest it, and really meditate on all of this stuff. Okay, founder of FedEx was laughed at 1,000,000 times because he decided that it would be a better way to ship things via air than via ground. And this was in 1970, okay? So this was way before e-commerce started and we were ordering from Amazon and all this kind of stuff. So he was a true innovator and decided, hey, why are we shipping stuff by ground? It takes way too long. We have airplanes. Why don't we use them for freight? And why don't we use them to ship stuff? And so people laughed at his idea. And yet today we have FedEx. It's the largest shipping company in the world, internationally. Sarah Blakely, she's one of my famous, favorite, I should say, stories. She started Spanx, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. And she failed a lot. She initially tried to be a comedian. She failed at that. Then she actually wanted to be a lawyer, but she failed at her LSATs so many times. Then she spent 7 years selling fax machines and getting told no in her face every single day. People ripped up her business card in her face. She had to go door to door. She had to make phone calls, like cold calling and all of that stuff. She literally got so used to hearing the word no that she totally just brushed it off and was like waiting for the yes and would just keep going and keep going and keep going until she got the yes. And actually, it was a great experience for her and a great learning curve for her, because then when she did decide to start this hosiery business, she was so used to the negative and the no's that it didn't matter to her. She didn't get emotional about it. She just kept persisting until she got a yes. And she initially in the beginning had no idea how to start a fashion line. She had no business background, no fashion background. She had $5,000 that she started with. That's it, $5,000. And she was calling up all these hosiery mills and nobody would give her the time of day. They're like, who are you? Sarah who? Who are you backed by? What company are you with? She's like, Sarah Blakely, Sarah Blakely. And they're like, yeah, no, click. And people wouldn't give her the time of day. Then she tried to get a patent. None of the patent attorneys would work with her. She even had lawyers laugh at her and think that she was playing a joke on them. They actually thought that she was doing some kind of candid camera thing when she went in to meet with them. That's how much they laughed in her face. And she just kept persisting and kept persisting. And now she's literally the youngest self-made female billionaire. Billionaire with a B, okay? Billionaire in America, okay? And it's really because she got used to failing. She got used to people saying no and brushing it off. She was like, I'm just going to keep going until I get a yes. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what I have to do. She eventually had to quit her job so that she could handle all of the orders coming in. She had retailers tell her this is a horrible idea. And then years later, they came back and bought so many things from her. Obviously, today, Spanx is a household name. Everybody knows what it is. It's ridiculous. It's totally changed fashion because she had one idea. And actually, she accredits a lot of it to her father because she said that her father growing up would always ask them at the dinner table, what have you failed at this week? Which I found pretty interesting, like for a father to say, hey kids, what have you failed at this week? My dad definitely never asked me that question. My mom didn't either. And hey Bayshona, how are you? Cleo, so glad that you're enjoying this. Definitely don't forget to share this video, guys, okay? Type share it in the comments and I'll give you my notes with all these wonderful quotes, okay? So her father would ask her this question every single day. Every day. What have you failed at this week? Or every week, I guess. What have you failed at this week? Kind of an odd question for a father to ask. But he always taught them that failure is when you're not trying versus failure meaning the outcome. So if you actually change your mindset around to say, okay, failure is not the actual outcome, failure is just not trying, then you can actually really have fun with failure and really say, okay, what did I not try this week? And as long as you tried something, you can't say you failed. So literally every week she could say, well, I tried this and I tried that and I'm trying this, and technically wouldn't be considered a failure. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Yes, I love hearing about successful women too, Daniela. It's so good for all of us womenpreneurs. So yeah, I think that her dad had a huge part and a huge play into that. And the one thing I can say my father did always tell us when we were kids is there is no such thing as can't. We weren't allowed to say the word can't. It was, I can do something, or I am currently struggling with doing something. It was never, I can't do this or I can't do that. And that really stuck in me, and that was really ingrained in us as children and really helped me a lot with my success and my businesses. So in the end, failure can be a blessing, and that's the overall moral of the story. Another quote that I love by Jim Rohn said that if it were not possible to fail, there would be no such thing as success. It's kind of like if there was no such thing as light, you'd never have darkness. Or if there was no such thing as failure, you could never have success, right? So that's a really great quote and a great way to think about it. Ah, your mom would say that too. That's so awesome. No such word as can't. Yes, I love it. So in your mind, if you believe that failure is actually good, if you can actually train your mind to think that failure is actually good, how would your outcome change? How would your mindset change? What would you actually push yourself to achieve if you actually thought and you actually took the mindset that failure is good, or that any failures were actually a successful experience rather than a failing experience? How much more would you dream? How bigger would you dream? How big would your goals actually be if you actually thought you couldn't fail and you actually believed that you couldn't fail? And failure can be good for many reasons. It does allow us to learn from our mistakes. Henry Ford says, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So you can learn a lot from your mistakes, right? If you take failure and turn that word around to be just a learning experience, you can learn so much from failing and from not succeeding at your dreams. Tweak things and then try again. Tweak things and then try again, right? And then just keep doing it until you finally succeed. Failure helps us to adapt. It helps us to change. It helps us to become better. It helps us to develop new tactics, new ways of doing things, and it helps us to really learn from our strengths and our weaknesses. What is our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are we good at? What are we not good at? What do we need to change about our business? And really it helps to strengthen us for the next challenge, right? Every time you fail at something small, it will help you for the next time around if you have another failure or something else is going on in your business. So I always say it's not a matter of if, only when you'll get there. As long as you keep persisting, as long as you have resilience and determination and you determine to never give up and never quit, you will always reach your goal. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if you reach your goal, it's a matter of when you reach your goal. And I always say quitting is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Quitting is like the end all be all. If you quit, you will definitely never succeed. But as long as you try, as long as you keep going, you will have success. And you can look at failure as a setback or a setup for something better to come in your business. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. The last quote that I will leave you with, hey Sean, how are you? You're just catching us at the end here, so make sure you go back and watch the whole video. If you are on Instagram, head on over to the Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group. Join the group so you can watch this whole video. Thank you, Sean. I never wear my hair in bun. I don't like my hair off my face, although my husband loves it. But, you know, when you just don't have time to do your hair, this is what you do. So I'll leave you with my last favorite quote. Your attitude towards failure determines your altitude after failure. And that's by John C. Maxwell. And I'll repeat that again. Your attitude towards failure determines your altitude, meaning how high you will actually bounce back after failure. And that's by John C. Maxwell. Hey, April, how are you? Thanks, Nicole. So that's it tonight, guys. I hope you loved this Facebook Live. I hope it inspired you. It's motivating you. It's changing your mindset a little bit about what failure really is and how necessary failure is for success. So the next time you fail, think of it not as a failure, but as a setup for something better in your business. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely stay tuned for next week's Facebook Live. Next week we are going to do a live e-commerce audit. So if you have an e-commerce shop and would like me to do a live audit of your e-commerce shop right here on Facebook and Instagram, definitely head on over to Facebook or Instagram. I've posted it on both, and you can read the rules to apply. And we will select one winner, and we will literally do a we will do a website e-commerce audit for you and tell you everything that's good about your website, everything that's bad about the website, what you need to improve in order to get more sales, etc. So it's basically a free strategy session worth over $250. So definitely apply for that, and we will pick a winner for next week. Also, tonight, in less than half an hour, we are doing our last free webinar of the entire year. There will not be another free webinar for the year. So definitely, if you haven't joined already, head on over and join that. There's a link in the bio on Instagram, and there's many posts on Facebook. It's the top 14 mistakes designers make and how to avoid them. And I find a lot of people, because they have a fear of failure, they also have a fear of making mistakes and never get started. So I'm giving you 14 mistakes I see so many designers make so that you don't make them and you can have success in your business. So that's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's literally a half hour away. And then we've also got a live interview lined up for October, so stay tuned for that. We'll be interviewing a successful startup fashion designer. We'll be talking to her about how she got investors to invest, how she just opened her own boutique, all of that great stuff. And if you're inside our FSI private mastermind Facebook group, We are doing our first live Q&A call tomorrow night. So if you haven't watched class 1, definitely be sure to watch class 1, get all of your homework in, and have your questions ready. We'll do a live Q&A inside the FSI Mastermind private group on Facebook if you're part of our FSI group. So that will be tomorrow night. And anyone that's interested, we are doing another fashion tour. It will be the last fashion tour of the year. Fashion District Manufacturing Tour on October 11th. That's a Wednesday. So be sure to sign up for that. It is almost sold out. So definitely don't miss out. It's going to be our last one for the year. We have got some new vendors that we're going to see. So it's going to be amazing. So I love you guys. Don't forget to share this video. Type share it in the comments so that I can send you a little gift. I'll send you all the notes from today, including all the fabulous quotes, so that you can put them all over your wall like me. You see all the stuff behind me? This is all of my inspiration. So get you going through your day and keep you going through your business. So awesome. Kristen says, can't wait. Sashi says, okay, that's awesome. Perfect. You're welcome for the motivation, Bayshona. All right, ladies and gents, if there are any gents on, I think it's mostly ladies. Love you all, and I'll see you next week. Facebook Live, Instagram Live, 7 p.m. Tuesday. Stay tuned, and don't forget to apply for the e-commerce live audit, website audit. All right, love you guys. Bye.